Hey, how's everybody doing? It's a little bit before 8, but I figured I'd go ahead and get on now. That way, um, I can get a couple things set up. So by 8 o'clock, we're good and we're ready to go. So let me just find myself on here. It's easier when I've got the computer up and for like question and answers and stuff. That way, there we go. For like question and answers and stuff, that way I can actually see what's going on. Okay. Oh crap, hold on a second. Let me turn the volume off on that. Okay. So anyway, hey everybody, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Rara Wednesdays. So it's a few minutes before 8 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and just, give another minute, let a few more people get on. It looks like, so, yep, Lindsay, this is going to be a good one. So, Mary Davis, are you on here? If you're on here, I got your message, and yeah, that's completely okay. Oh my God, Lindsay, you're hilarious. Toner's arrived. Oh, thank you so much, Shasta. I really appreciate that. I had a meeting I had to be at today, and and so hair and makeup had to be done. Okay, Shasta. So what is my actual diagnosis? So I have two main diseases, and then from the one disease, I have a whole slew of comorbidities. So I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, classic and hypermobile. If you guys can hear me, just let me know. I'm kind of like resting this on my leg, and so sometimes when I do that, I know that it can be hard to hear me. But anyway, so Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, classic and hypermobile, and then I also have secondary Addison's disease due to a pituitary tumor. So that that right now we're not doing anything with. And then I've got a whole bunch of comorbidities because of the Ehlers-Danlos, so cranial cervical instability, migraines, autonomic dysfunction, small fiber neuropathy. I get really bad hemiplegic migraine episodes with stroke sometimes, and that's not necessarily because of the Ehlers-Danlos. Correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation. So, and I say that a lot. You'll probably hear me say that a lot. Correlation doesn't equal causation. See, I've got a seizure disorder. Could be epilepsy, could not be epilepsy. We're really not sure. When I had a SPECT scan done, which is a scan that basically shows blood flow, how blood is flowing in my brain and what areas of my brain are getting blood as opposed to what areas aren't. And I can always put that video up. But there's three areas of my brain that are about 2 to 3 inches a piece that don't get any, that aren't receiving any blood. And so one of those areas is in the temporal lobe. And what he said is even if it isn't epileptic seizures, which for this particular type of epilepsy, which is temporal lobe epilepsy, I'd have to get something called a WADA test done, which basically they saw my head and put probes directly into my brain, and I'm good. I don't need shit. I don't need probes on my brain. Fucking good. I'm good. Um, but yes, you can definitely ask me what I use in my eyebrows. I will get to you on that in just a second. Because I'll find the products and I'll show you. I love them. But it could be, he said, what's most likely happening is um, neuron, the misfiring of neurosynapses, which is why possibly the seizures are happening. Um, and then the other two areas of my brain that don't get blood flow, there's an area right here in the middle top of my brain that's about 3 inches. And this was in 2018. So he said if we were to rescan, the area has probably increased. He said he couldn't confirm without doing a rescan, which I think we're going to go ahead and do because we're curious at this point. And then there's an area in my prefrontal cortex, my periorbital prefrontal cortex, that doesn't get any blood either. And he said, that is why you're depressed. And I said, oh. He said, that's why you're depressed. And that's why, he's like, if you're impulsive, that's why you're impulsive. And I said, oh, what did I do as a career before getting sick? I was in the Navy. So I was in the Navy. I joined the Navy late. I joined the Navy at 29. So before then, I did all kinds of shit before then. I was a server I was a server for about 10 years. I modeled for a little bit. I worked in corporate America for several years. That's where I met Josh. I got my EMT and medics license, and so worked as an EMT medic for a little bit, but just for like a private company. So I did a bunch of tater toting. That's what we called it. So nothing too exciting. You're a retired Marine wife? Awesome. I have to say, spouses are such an integral part of military life. They're such an integral part of military life. Like, you guys experience, even though you're not on the deployments or on the missions, you guys experience that because you have to experience us being gone for so long. And I can't speak for any other branches, but I know that the Marines are gone a lot and the Navy is gone all the time. We're at sea. That's what the Navy is. We are at sea. If we are not in a yard period, we are at sea. So it's basically Carolyn, you haven't lived with your husband for 10 years. So Air Force wife, I think, spouses need to get credit. I think that spouses absolutely need to get credit where credit is due as far as the military goes. I spent over a year and a half away from Josh when I was in the military, and he was basically a single dad. He was basically a single dad. If I take all of my time in the military that I was away, we were probably together only a year for my entire time in the military. Joy, I know it's hard, but thank you for sharing your story with us. That's the reason I share my story. I share my story because I don't want other people to have to go through what I went through. I know I tend to be a little more hesitant, these days to do it because of, trolls. And we already know that there are people screen recording this shit just ready to send it to, It is what it is. So it sucks, but it is what it is. People need to get a goddamn life, is what they need to do. Um, but anyway, so while we've got a bunch of people jumping on, I just want to welcome you guys to Rara Wednesdays. So this is something that you guys wanted. Um, this is by hugely popular request. By hugely popular request, Rara Wednesdays is here. Um, so I want to, my moderators that are on, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to be on. For those of you guys here that are watching, I want to thank you for taking the time, spending the time with us here at Rara Wednesdays. I know how you can be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time with me. And because of that, I am so, so, so grateful. Those of you guys that are going to be watching on the replay, I thank you so much for spending your time watching the replay. I know how you guys can be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time with me. And for that, I am truly, truly grateful. Shasta, how can you become a moderator? Send me an email. Just send me a message on Shasta, letting me know that you're interested in becoming a moderator. So, and then we can set up a time to do an interview. Absolutely. Shasta, you also asked, what do I put on my eyebrows? Benefit, people. Benefit. It is amazing. So I use a couple different products on my brows. I use Candy. Your son is currently in Kuwait. I was in Kuwait. So I wasn't in Kuwait long at all, but I was in Kuwait. So God love your son for being, is he in the reserves? Because they made the Kuwait. So when I was in Kuwait, I was actually there for a few days for medical purposes, believe it or not. And so my driver, which is kind of giving me a whole bunch of information on the base and on Kuwait. And well, let me get back to you, Candy, because I'm jumping back. I am so ADD. I'm sorry. I'm jumping back and forth. Brows, Shasta. I'm going to answer your brow. I'm going to answer your brow question, Shasta. So, benefit Cabral. I use Cabral first. I use level 3 Cabral, and then I use the benefit I think it's called Precise Brow, to just fill in little bits and make it look nice. But I swear by Benefit, and I swear by Benefit mascara as well. I use the Lancome primer. Lancome has an amazing primer, and I swear by it. And then I also use Candy National Guard. That's it. National Guard and Reserves. The Kuwait base got switched to only National Guard and Reserves, because it used to be a base for active duty, but they changed that because they basically wanted to change it to a non-familial. So basically family can't go if you're going to be on tour there. You forget what you use, but so from Benefit, I absolutely, like, this is my, like, I will go without eating to get to get Benefit. I know it's bad, and this is probably what the haters are going to put up. They're going to be like, she goes without food to get Benefit makeup. What's wrong with her? Like, and excuse me, I only go without food for myself. My kid eats, so oh God, we've got so much food in this house. But yeah, I do the mascaras, either Benefit Bang or Benefit They're Real. So I swear by it. I won't use anything else. And then the Benefit Precision Eyeliner and Cabral. I love it. Won't use anything else. So what other questions do we have? What other, this is you guys' time. Like, Rara Wednesdays. Like, this is all you guys. This is totally for you guys. If you guys want to have questions, if you guys want to do, a educational series, like, this is all for you guys. Like, if you have questions for me or questions about different oh crap. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. So, like I said, if you have questions for me, how do I deal with all the hate? That is a really good question, Shasta. Um, at first, I used to deal with all the hate by trying to defend myself, by, by trying to just. I felt like I had to defend myself because everything that is being said is just so egregiously untrue. And so I felt like I constantly had to defend myself. And people, were like, "Oh, well, just shut everything down and don't say anything at all." And I was like, and for me, I'm gonna have to hold this a bit. And for me, I felt like, I had to like, I was like, "Oh no, I can't do that. I have to defend myself. I have to defend myself." And now, I could say that the sky is blue. I could say that the sky is blue, and it would be picked apart like a bad Fox News commentary. I mean, that's just how it would be. And so I just don't give the people I just, whatever. I'm just like, you know what? Like, yeah, fuck you too. I don't even pay it any attention anymore. If there's some stuff that I gotta like screen capture or whatever, then I'll do that. But otherwise, those people don't deserve the breath from my lungs. They just don't. You guys do. So I focus on you guys. I focus on the good. I focus on the joy. Um, I don't spend as much time on social media as I used to. Just because you got to have a mental break. um, it's that's the only way that I can deal with it. You know, Eventually people on the internet, especially when it comes to herd mentality, and there's been a lot of studies done on herd, on that like social media herd mentality, because we are such an internet driven society now that people will jump on the bandwagon without knowing, you know, what's going on. They just jump on the bandwagon any without doing any of their own actual research or going to the horse's mouth. And you always got to understand there's his side, her side, and the truth, in anything that goes on. Um, and with herd mentality, you've got people that just jump on this bandwagon without, you know, having any idea what's going on. And this, and it's really interesting to read the studies that are done on it. Um, and so they're like toddlers. They're going to cry themselves out eventually, you know, until the next thing comes along, you know. Um, what meds do you take for I don't have fibromyalgia. So Ashley, I can't really answer that, and I don't know. I apologize. I don't really know what the common. I know that gabapentin is a big prescriber for fiber, like, is a big medicine prescribed for fibromyalgia, but outside of that, I'm really not equipped to properly answer that question. What I can do is I can do some research, and I can put some journal articles, some peer-reviewed journal articles up on the group that will hopefully be able to help you out. Amanda, do I have a timeline? Do I have what's my timeline? Someone mentioned you on palliative measures. So first thing, Amanda, your question is not rude at all. So you guys, it's really hard to offend me. Like, and if you if you've done something to offend me, you've done something really freaking egregious. So 9 out of 10 times, like, I'm just so freaking aloof to everything. Like, I don't get offended. I just don't. In December, I was told by my endocrinologist that I'm looking at about 5 years, and that's if I do everything. Um, at this point, a few years ago, I know when I was first diagnosed with everything, um, in one of my first meetings with my endocrinologist, with my endo, um, he said about 10-ish years. It's all about the degrees of ish, and that was several years ago. And in December, he said we're looking at about 5. If it's 5, it's 5. If it's 6, it's 6. At this point, I just quit trying to even. I'm just like, okay, okay. I'm like, I'm not fucking dead yet. like, like Jesus H Christ. Um, you know, but Rara Wednesdays is already up on Reddit. So hopefully we can figure out which one of these people. Generally, it's people that are just watching and not commenting that are putting stuff on Reddit. So we're getting a lot more better about weeding people out. We've actually weeded several people out that we found were on Reddit. So hopefully that answers it. You know, I'm doing palliative comfort care right now. I'm not on hospice. I got downgraded, so it's just palliative comfort care. You know, I see doctors once every 6 to 8 weeks at this point, if I feel the need to. So at this point, I'm just trying to do me. You know, the days that I have the energy. Hey, Natalie, how are you, love? The days that I have the energy, I run with it. I run like hell with it. Um, are you sure, Doug? Are you sure you're not the one commenting on Reddit? Doug, how are you doing? Josh is out playing tonight. He's at a gig. Uh, are you sure it's not you, Doug? I don't know. I don't know. Those sunglasses are suspicious. Oh God. Yeah, Josh is at. I know, right, Doug? Oh, Doug's a good friend of ours. He's known Josh for 20 years at least. Um, Megan, people are scary. People are crazy. Yes, Megan, people are cray cray. People are just straight up cray cray. like and I know it sounds horrible. I know it sounds absolutely horrible, but you just got, like, I have to laugh at it, because if I don't laugh, I'm just going to be really, really sad all the time. Um, Amanda, you're really sweet. I really appreciate you. Natalie, what can we do to help you feel less anxious? Um, Brenda, it's sad that people have to focus on such negativity. So, well, first, I really appreciate your comment. It's so kind. You guys are amazing, and I love you guys all tremendously. Um, in the focusing on the negativity, that just goes back to the herd mentality. It just goes right back to the herd mentality. And, um, you know, it is sad that people choose to focus on the negative, and unfortunately, people, there are people that just get off on that stuff. And That's sad. It really is. But, you know, I choose to focus on the joy because otherwise I'd be really freaking sad all the time. Like I would just be sad all the time. And I'm good. I don't need that. Um, Desiree, thank you so much. Doug, you don't know what Ted it is. For reals. Oh, oh, Miss Hershey, thank you so much. I feel like if I say your first name, I'm gonna botch it. I'm gonna botch it so bad, and I know what it feels like to have my name botched. My last name gets botched like crazy. That's where the whole rah rah thing came up from because people just started calling me rah rah in the Navy instead of having to pronounce my last name. It was just rah rah. And on my ship, that's all I was known as was rah rah. That's the only thing I would answer to. Did the doctor say what would cause you to pass away? Is it organ failure? It's kind of a toss up. It's a race to the finish line. Um, from from what he said, it's basically a race to the finish line. It's either going to be infection or adrenal crisis. So sepsis um, from um, sepsis from an infection or an adrenal crisis is what they're betting on, you know. But like we could always like just if I like need to find a way to raise money, I guess I could like do like a when's Rara gonna die pool and what's she gonna die of, like $20 buy-in, $5 a bet, and then half of it goes to the winner and half of it goes to pay my ridiculously mounting medical bills. And I bet you that one's gonna go on Reddit too. I just they're really like, she's betting on when she's gonna die. No. Oh my god. Um, it, Natalie, it is the $1 million question. Doug is absolutely right. You just got to block the shit out. So, Doug is a very, very wise man. He's a very wise man. Anybody that's a friend of my husband's, or, well, a friend of Josh's, I'm used too used to saying that. But anyway, anybody that's a friend of Josh's is a very wise, wise person. So, but everybody's friends with Josh because everybody loves Josh. So, um, oh no, Mary, I promise you. I promise you no to that last one. I promise you. So Doug's absolutely right. Focus on the joy. You just got to focus on the joy. Otherwise, you'll just be sad all the time. So, what other questions, comments, concerns, questions about life do we have? Oopies. Oopies. um, Megan, how is your daughter? I've always been worried about her since the beginning of your journey. Lucy is, um, Sierra, we're just doing Rara Wednesdays. We're hanging out. So, how is your daughter? Lucy is amazingly resilient. Lucy is an incredibly resilient, strong person. Um, who I used to be worried about all the time. And then it came to a point where I just felt so much, I just had such a peace about Lucy. I mean, and she's dealt with this. I mean, I've been sick for 6 years, so she's been dealing with this for 6 years. So this is just for her, it's another Tuesday, and, we have talked at length, like we have talked at length about, my being sick, and, especially when I was in hospice, what's it going to look like when I die? And, um, you know, one time she said, Mom, you should do the death with dignity so you don't have to suffer anymore. You know, and that's a really, on so many different levels, it's a very powerful thing to come out of the voice of a child. Children are a lot more intuitive than we give them credit for, or than we want to give them credit for. They're not stupid. They know what's going on. Um, and I think we tend to forget that as parents, that kids know what's going on. Um, she just turned 15. And I'm sure that she said, I would definitely be very sad when you're not here. But um, she was like, I'll definitely be very sad when you're not here, but I'll be almost relieved because you won't be in pain anymore. You won't be sick anymore. I think that I had always had a piece about her and Josh, um, and even after, you know, because even though Josh and I will no longer be married, I had always had a piece when it came to the two of them. Because even though we're not going to be married, he's still going to be an incredibly huge part of my life. Like, he's my person. He's my person. He's always going to be my person. You know, he's just not going to be a married person. But I've always had just this incredible peace when it comes to the two of them. Um, oh no, Megan, you're fine, sweetie. She is. Lucy's very mature for her age. I mean, she's still a teenager and she still does teenage shit. I mean, let's keep it 100. She's still a teenager, but she's a good kid. She's a really good kid, and she's a really, 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 really amazing artist. Like, she really is. Like, her talent, like, for art is on point. It's on point. Um, Sierra, I last saw you on TikTok and then you disappeared. Um, I don't do anything on TikTok. I have my TikTok, but I don't do anything on TikTok. And I don't do anything on TikTok because for the haters, it just adds fuel to the fire. I could get on and say, you know what? It is a gorgeous day. The sky is blue. It's sunny. Life is great. And the haters would be like, let's pick this shit apart. People that are sick don't enjoy their days. What's wrong with you? Like, she must not be sick because she's smiling. She's lying. It's not blue outside. It's slightly hazel. She's a goddamn liar. Like, it would get picked apart and apart and apart and apart. So I don't even bother with TikTok. I have it. I still have my thing on there. But I don't do anything on there. And it sucks because there are people on TikTok that genuinely want to be there, to genuinely follow me, not to be there as a hater. And it sucks for those people. Like, it really does suck for those people. Um, but right now, until things die down, whenever the hell that's going to be, I just can't do anything on TikTok. So I hang out here with you guys. This group keeps me busy. I love it. The things that are going on in this group are just beautiful and amazing. And, like I said in the last video, not the Rara Wednesday, but like the last video that I did, I think it was on like Friday or whatever. The things that are going on with this group are just, Becky, it's good to see you too, sweetie. the things that are going on with this group are just beautiful and amazing. And that's where I want to put my energy. I want to put my energy into this group and growing this group and, you know, really, you know, um, in this group. You know, I want to focus my energy on this group and growing this group and just letting it grow to the beautiful thing that is absolutely becoming. Um, Becky, you haven't missed much. We're just doing Rara Wednesdays, hanging out, doing questions. Megan, she is incredibly creative. Like, oh my God, Lucy is so talented. She is like so talented. Karen, your nails are really pretty. These are actually, um, I got these at, well, these are Color Street, so which is like an MLM. Um, One of my friends was having, you know, like an online party or whatever, so I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll get on there. And then these are actually Color Street as well, but the nails themselves I got from Walgreens. $8. So had to, you know, save some money. Can't really, you know, be going and getting my nails done. But your dad, Megan, your dad had stage 4 cancer for 6 years. Oh my God. And they gave him 6 months. Lucy is it? Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Lucy is in like all different kinds of therapy. So we are a huge believer of doing therapy in the house. Even when things are going great, it's always good to have somebody to talk to and to have a mutual party to talk to. We are huge, huge, huge believers in that. So we all like, you know, yeah, we all like Josh and I are in therapy for our divorce, you know, just to, and we're not even, it's not even one of those like focusing on the bad. Like we're in therapy to focus on the good and like how we can move on and what it looks like, you know, to move on, what it looks like to move on together, you know, separately, if that makes any sense. Um, because we really want this to be, you know, for as sad as divorce is, we really want to try to make this like a wholesome, positive experience as possible, if that makes any sense. So, Megan, sweetie, I'm so sorry about your dad. I'm so sorry about your dad, love. I really am. Tara, you were just thinking my nails are awesome. Yeah, I mean, I do my manicures at home. So I do my manicures at home. I might spend like 8, $10, you know, to get nail color or whatever, you know, but I do my nails at home because it's cheaper than going to a salon. Jenny, I am 37. I turned 37 at the end of January. So, and yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about that question. You are just fine. Karen, thank you so much. Christy, the ketamine reset seemed to be a huge positive. Any thoughts on how to keep the pain managed without sliding into a terrible cycle of pain meds? We are doing, the goal is we want to do the ketamine reset every 6 months. I never, ever, ever, ever in the world of evers want to be back to a point where I was on, you know, upwards of 90 milligram morphine equivalent an hour. I don't want that. That is nothing that I want in my life. Um, you know, from going from upwards of 90 milligram morphine equivalent an hour to 20 milligram morphine equivalent a day, like that's where I want to stay. And I understand, like, I'm going to have bad days. Yesterday, the night before into yesterday was a really, really bad, like, it was bad. I wasn't sleeping at all. The pain was out of control. Like, I was shaking like crazy. I had a horrible migraine, so I had to take more pain meds than usual. And I understand that I'm going to have those moments. And I also understand, and I'm not blind to the fact, you know, I'm not blind or ignorant to the fact that I have a progressive, deteriorating, life limiting condition. My condition is still deteriorating and progressing. So I, so the ketamine reset is only going to work for so long. And so that's why I'm wanting to stick on top of it every 6 months, because I don't want, if there's any way that we can keep the pain at bay, that, without having to go on, 11 billion, instead of having to be on a dump truck full of pain meds, abso-freaking-lutely. And I wish to God it would have been offered to me 2-3 years ago. I wish to God it would have been offered to me 2-3 years ago. And I'm sad that it wasn't. But the ketamine reset also does, a couple of other things. So one of the things that the ketamine did, for whatever the reason, is it started to, so like, if any of you have been following my story for, a length of time, you know that, um, what was it, a couple years ago, I think it was at this point, a couple years ago, I had a really, really bad hemiplegic migraine episode. It was a hemiplegic migraine with stroke, and I ended up losing all the memory that was in my hippocampus. So your hippocampus holds geographic and biographic memory, and it was all wiped out. Like, I didn't know who I was, who Josh was, who Lucy was. Like, I still don't remember. Like, I don't remember Lucy being born. I don't, you know, I remember bits and pieces, and I kind of question, like, well, is it, do I really remember this, or is this just because when you lose your memory, your brain is trying to take pictures from whatever it has to form a story. So, so for me, I kind of like, I'm like, well, is my brain forming a story, or is this an actual memory? But with the ketamine, memories, not all my memories, but memories started to come back. And unfortunately, not good memories, because unfortunately, I had a really, really traumatizing childhood. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual trauma. Um, I I'm a survivor of childhood sexual trauma. I was raped in my freshman year of college. My birth mother walked out. There was a lot of abuse. So a lot of a really, really traumatic childhood. And so, for whatever the reason, those memories were coming back. But with the ketamine, I was able to handle it. I think with the I'm glad that if they were going to come back, that at least they came back while I was on the ketamine, so I could deal with it better. For whatever the reason, the ketamine allowed me to deal with these traumatic events in a more holistic way. And there's actually a there's actually um it's called MAPS, and it's a place called MAPS, and it's in California, and they work with um it's psychiatrists and therapists that work with people trying to overcome PTSD, and they do it using psychedelics. And I have actually looked into going there, um, and working through a lot of, some of these memories that are coming back that I lost, um, you know, and going to MAPS and basically taking MDMA or psilocybin, and basically you you essentially get high, and you work through, it allows you to work through those traumatic experiences in a safe and loving environment. um have I done EMDR therapy? I have done EMDR therapy, and I hated it. the problem with EMDR therapy, and EMDR therapy is very good to bring memory back. The problem is, though, then you have all these memories flooding in, and then you have to deal with the PTSD from it. Then you have to deal with the PTSD from it. And that's what I don't like about the EMDR. There isn't a way to help, yeah, you're with a therapist in a safe environment, but your body gets into um, this fight or flight mode. And research has shown that people that come up from particularly traumatizing childhoods, who are constantly in a state of fight or flight, their immune response crashes. And what happens is their bodies just stay in a sense of flight or flight. Um, they're, into their adult lives and throughout their adult lives. And so you've got all these factors that are playing in. And so with the EMDR therapy, it was not for me. Now, with that being said, does that necessarily mean that it's not for someone else? Absolutely not. When it comes to memory recovery, EMDR therapy is like the bee's knees, right? EMDR therapy is the bee's knees. But there has to be a there in my opinion, there has to be a a parallel therapy to work with the PTSD that's going to come from the memory recovery. Hey, Amber, sweetie, thank you for stopping in. Amber, I'm so glad that you got to stop in and give your littles big hugs for me. Um, so yeah, Becky, I don't do a pain pump because I don't want to be on a bunch of meds again. And ketamine is amazing. Ketamine is the bee's knees. Um, I just want to make sure that I'm getting to everybody's questions. Um, Brenda, I think um, being spot on about TikTok. Yeah. Yeah. I have more control here than I have on TikTok. TikTok is, um, even on a security standpoint, TikTok is very dangerous. I have a friend that does some super secret agent man stuff for the government, and was telling me, we actually got into a really long conversation about TikTok, and this friend was like, TikTok is absolutely dangerous. Um, this person was like, TikTok is absolutely dangerous. It should not be in the United States. Oracle should not have ever bought it. Um, it needs to go away. So, and if it wasn't for the fact, truly, if it wasn't for the fact that have to have my, that I have to have my account up for keeping an eye on things and reporting, then I wouldn't have it at all. And the day that I can get rid of it, I'm absolutely getting rid of it, and I will never ever go back to TikTok again. Yes, there are creators on there that I really like, and that I like to follow, but at what cost? You know, at what cost? Um, Karen, you were an absolute doll. Thank you. Somebody asked about the divorce. Sierra, can I ask what happened with you and Josh? Um, it's, again, and I think I said this before, our separation is one of the most, when people think of divorce, they generally think of the parties being very not amicable. And Josh and I love each other so much. we love each other so very much, and we are always going to love each other, and he is always going to be my person. He is always going to be my person. He is always going to be my family. He is always going to be my person, you know. Um, Even when I meet somebody else, he's still always going to be my person. We're always going to have an incredibly close dynamic. It just, I think that when we got married, when we met and we got married, we met at a very tumultuous time in both of our lives, and we kind of fell into each other. And before we got married, there were people, that were kind of worried, like, oh, this isn't going to last at all. People were saying it wasn't going to last a year. And we've been together almost 11 years, between being married and the time, from the time that we've been together and being married, we've been together almost 11 years. Um, and so we've really had to fight for our marriage. But you have to sometimes you have to know when, we were talking to a friend together on the phone the other day, because I officially put it out on Facebook, so nothing's official until it's Facebook official, right? But I told people, I was like, I want you to call Josh, and I was like, I want you guys to give Josh just crazy love, like just freaking crazy love, like just surround him with crazy love. And so one of our friends, they called him, and they were like, just asking how everything was going, and kind of giving us some counsel. And Josh made a really good point when he said, it's kind of liking it to, if you love something, sometimes you got to let it go. Um, in order for those people to grow, and in order for Josh and I to really grow the way that both of us needed to, we had to we had to be pushed out of the proverbial nest that we were in. Um, we had to be pushed out of the proverbial nest that we were in. And we both became complacent in our own ways. And, before we got married, people were saying that we weren't equally yoked, um, which was very true. There's just a lot of things that we're just not equally yoked. And so, even that 1 degree of separation over time, that 1 degree, does one of these. So, you're going out this way. But it doesn't mean that we don't love each other. Um, we just, this was a very hard thing for us, but it also the best thing for us, and we have been, um, um, we have been, I'm sorry, I'm like making sure to read comments and stuff like that also. Um, Megan, yes, you're correct. I don't know. I think our dynamic has changed since, like, we just we get along better than we ever have. It's weird. Like, it really is weird. Like, we get along better than we ever have. He is my best friend. Um, and it breaks my heart, that doesn't happen for a lot of couples, that it's very unamicable. But I'm really, we are really, really focused on making sure that we set the example of what a divorce should look like should couples, have to get divorced or choose to get divorced. Um, have I tried alternative medicines or treatments? Oh my God, I did it all. I did it all. I spent $4,500 on an Eastern medicine package, um, at one point. Like, I did it all. Megan, I'm sorry you had a crappy childhood. It sucks. Oh, you Okay, with the maps. Yeah, they have you, they, I think they do semi-micro dosing. It's like between an actual dose and a micro dose. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to get a hold of maps. I'm going to look it up online. And once I find the information, I'll actually put the information up on the group because it could help, it may help one of you guys with, I can only imagine how many of us on here have medical PTSD. It's a thing. It exists. Excuse me. I gotta, hold on 1 second. I'll take you guys with me. I just gotta, oh my gosh. My allergies are horrible and it doesn't help that there's dog hair all over the place. Gus, do you want to say hi really quick? You want to say hi, Gus? You say hi? Oh. Oh, the Gus. Oh, the Gus. Oh, the Gus. Yeah, so once I get the information about the maps, I'm absolutely going to put that online because I think that it would be, it could be very helpful for people in the group. And I know that they use ketamine to help with depression. It's been known to help with severe depression that hasn't been helped but with other medicines. I think that they ought to, my personal opinion, which, it's just my opinion. They're like assholes. We all have them. But my personal opinion is that we should look at ketamine more as an alternative to, having to do the Prozac, Celexa, Wellbutrin, Abilify, whatever it is that you have to take to get across the bridge instead of over the bridge, No judgment here. I'm on everything but roller skates. So, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. The allergies here are so bad. Becky, you have a pain pump and it goes right to the source. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to look at that then. Christy, am I excited to get the COVID vaccine? I actually called my doctor today and I got on the list. I'm on group 1B, but my doctor isn't getting the vaccine for another 2-3 weeks. I could do it with VA if I wanted. I don't know which vaccine my VA has. As long as they don't have the Johnson & Johnson, I'm willing to get it there. So it just depends on what they have, because I won't do the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Johnson & Johnson can go stick one up them. Megan, but you have to admit TikTok was your platform to be here. Yes, you are absolutely right. And TikTok is absolutely horrible for children. It is a sexual predator haven. It's a sexual predator haven, but it's also a security breach haven as well. So, marriage is hard work, absolutely. And you've been married for 14 years, Megan. That is awesome. Stephanie Lynn, my prognosis is, according to my endocrinologist, about 5 years. But we'll see, is what I say. So I joke about it a lot that I've seen the light more than 10 people, and yet I'm still here. And somebody a friend of mine jokes with me. He's like, yeah, because you can't die. He's like, you literally can't die. I was like, you're not helping. Alana, you've been with your husband for 15 years. That is awesome. The divorce, the divorce thoughts have never been so intense because of COVID. You know what? COVID really, like, COVID did not help anybody's situation. COVID didn't help any situations at all. Um, yes, Natalie, I'm on everything but roller skates. Yeah, so when people are like, yeah, I'm on this medicine and this medicine, I'm like, you don't have to explain it to me. I'm on everything but roller skates. It's fine. Oh, it's just a vape. It's not THC or anything. It just helps me to breathe. So it helps me to focus to breathe. It's weird, but so when I was in the Navy, I started smoking when I was in the Navy so I could get breaks. That was the only way that I could get breaks in the Navy was if I started smoking. Well, I didn't want to smoke anymore, so to quit smoking, I started vaping. And now I'm trying to quit vaping, so I don't know what the alternative to vaping is. And people are like, well, do you do nicotine gum or nicotine patches? I can't do the patches because I'm allergic to the adhesive. The gum hurts my mandibular joint. Exactly, exactly, Megan. And I'm sure the haters are just going to be like, she's smoking. Ah! Um, Josh smoked for 10 years and he quit cold turkey. I hate him. I like he could do like he can turn something on and off like a light switch. It drives me nuts. Like he can like if he wants to do something, he just does it. And I'm just like I just look at him like I hate you. Like it just drives me nuts. Brenda, vaping has helped you. You know, and it just like today was like this morning was a really like it was really really rough this morning. So I was like, and I think it's a hand fixation, it's an oral fixation. Like I'm trying to do the rubber band thing more. Um, so I looked at Chantix, and my doctor didn't put. There was a medical reason that my doctor didn't put me on Chantix, and I think it was seizures that my doctor didn't put. It was either blood pressure or seizures because I have ridiculously low blood pressure and I have seizures. So the doctor was like, nope. So, but I heard you get really like vivid dreams on Chantix. So, because I know people that have been on Chantix, and I hear that you get really, really vivid dreams on Chantix. So, I wouldn't be, I mean, Megan, if you, I would talk to your doctor about it. Brenda, it affected you horribly. Yeah, see, I can't, like, I can tell you what my doctor told me, but I would talk to your doctor about it. I mean, um, talk to your doctor about your concerns, you know. Stephanie, I saw, oh, it is being rescheduled. So I can't, for legal purposes, I can't talk about it. But I had to reschedule it. Hey, Brittany, how are you, love? Super awkward question, but how did Josh feel about the OnlyFans? Um, did he impending separation or is he just no? Like I would not have done OnlyFans if Josh said no. Like if he said no, it wouldn't have. And what I did, what I did, and what I advertised were different things. What I did was in combination between a Victoria's Secret catalog and a 1950s Playboy magazine. Um, are you Um, so, but it was, we set a list of boundaries. Um, Nothing, he knew everything, and as soon as he was like, yeah, I think I'm starting to feel weird about it, I dropped it. Like I dropped it like a bad habit. So, because he's more important. Okay, Megan. Megan, thank you so much for being on here and just talking. And so we'll see you later, love. Stephanie, are you gonna are you gonna give it to her? I can't. I'm killing her with kindness because honestly, that's the best thing to do. The best thing to do is just to give her absolute crazy love and kindness. Because how can you talk bad about someone that like, you know, gives you crazy love and that gives you crazy kindness. And I think that that is the best thing to do. Um, you know, the Jasmine, the Kayla's World, Kaya's World. Um, I'm supposed to be doing a an interview with her. It was an olive branch. It was actually so I have to give her credit where credit is due. She set it out as I think a way as an olive branch. I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe it was an olive branch for. Maybe it wasn't. I'm going to choose to believe that it's an olive branch. And um, Brittany, we absolutely do. We absolutely do have to connect. But I am choosing. I am choosing to show her love because what is it going to get? What is it going to solve, or what is it going to? What good is it going to do to reciprocate hate with hate? I would rather reciprocate any hate or negativity that she gives to me with love. And it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. Now, am I going to be honest in it? Yes. Am I going to be blunt when I need to be blunt? Absolutely. But I'm going to be it's going to be a truth in love. You know, um and Stephanie, I'm sick of the haters too. I'm absolutely sick of the haters, and some of them I just want to be like, but you know, um, your med change has been a huge factor in all the winter craziness. Yeah, I think it's and like I said, I know where I fucked up, and I've said that, and I know where I could have done differently. I know how I could have handled things differently. And, um, you know, and, but I am, for me, I have to fight the hate with love. Um, for me, I have to fight the hate with love. Um, I can't do it any other way. For me, there's just no other alternative. And if I'm not strong enough to fight it with love, then you know, I just do one of these. You know, I let it, I just don't have anything to say or any contact, and peace be still. It is. Rachel, you're right. Like the kinder you are to the haters, it just makes them mad. Oh, it makes them so mad. Yeah, I think that Christy, I think that you're right, but I also, like I said, I know, like I said before, I'm terrible with my wording. I'm absolutely terrible with my wording. It's something I've never really been good at. I know that. I now, now that's why I'm a lot more apt to, what's the wording? I think a lot more before I don't speak as much, and when I do, I think a lot about it. And if there's something that I really have to say that I have to get out, I write it down and I just read from what I wrote. Cassandra, yeah, you had asked me what on a post what my diagnoses were. Um, so Addison's disease, secondary to a pituitary tumor. So secondary Addison's disease or adrenal insufficiency, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, classic and hypermobile. I'm going to start with the head down. Seizures, hemiplegic migraines, um, hemiplegic migraine with stroke. Um, Eyes are fine, except I get really bad halos, but I think that was because of the LASIK. Issues with my TMJ, but that is what it is. Small fiber neuropathy, autonomic dysfunction, including POTS. I always feel like I'm forgetting stuff. I just have like a bag of mess. I'm a bag of mess. I'm like a train wreck wrapped into a dumpster fire. It just, wrapped in a shit show. Um, I think you can fight the hate with tolerance. Love and respect are earned. Respect is earned. Respect is absolutely earned. Um, Respect is absolutely earned. Um, Rachel, you always say you're a medical mess. Yeah, I'm a hot mess. Hot mess express. Yeah, I've got all the crap listed, and it got to a point. No, my diagnoses came later on in life. Oh, I have asthma too. I forgot. I had to have a PFT done. Um, so it, I've, I think, so it was more, the symptoms came later on in life, and the diagnoses came later on in life. So, I mean, they didn't come until I was in my 30s. So, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is genetic. So I had that all my life, but everything was dormant until my 30s. I feel you. I'm a train wreck wrapped in a dumpster fire too. Nice, Lauren. If I were up to it, am I allowed to work? Yeah, so there are plenty of people on VA disability that work, that hold a normal job, and I would love to be able to work again. I would love to be able to work again, you know. Unfortunately, I'm, you know, too sick to do a normal 9 to 5. So I do whatever I can to keep myself busy and, do little projects and stuff on the side. I make jewelry to make extra money. I'm reopening my store. I'm reopening my high-end and luxury consignment store. Um, so I can make money doing that. Um, so, I definitely find ways to make extra money because it's definitely needed. So making jewelry, opening up my store again. doing freelance work, like, editing and writing papers, stuff like that. I do freelance work on Fiverr. You were just diagnosed, Lauren, you were diagnosed with post COVID syndrome. I'm so sorry, Lauren. I know COVID did permanent damage to my lungs and my heart. So I am so sorry. I am so sorry about that. I'll post my jewelry. Yeah, I need to do a you know what? I'll put it up tomorrow. I know I normally am supposed to do it on Fridays, like people listing their small businesses or whatever. But since I missed a couple weeks, I'll post the small business thing tomorrow. Um I did get the stimulus. Hold on one second. Um so I did post the stimulus. I did get the stimulus and we paid bills. I did two things for, or I'm doing two things for myself. Well, I got stuff to make my jewelry, um, so I can make more jewelry. And then the one thing that I'm doing for myself, a treat yourself, is I have not gotten my hair done in a year. So like all this brown is going to match this blonde. So um, that's the one thing I'm doing for myself. But other than that, the money was either put into savings or paid bills. Brittany, I'm sorry. I'm sorry they can't figure out what's wrong with you, hon, but just advocate like hell for yourself. Advocate like hell. And when you and I talk on our own, I will definitely show you how to advocate for yourself. That is one thing that I am great at. Um, can you talk about COVID? Um, what do you want to know about COVID specifically? Um, do you have like any specific like questions on COVID? Um, I know my COVID experience. So for me, my COVID experience, I started. Um, hold on one second. I'm sorry. Um, here, hold on one second. So I know for me, my COVID experience, I started coughing really bad, like really bad, to the point that I was dry heaving. I got really ran down. I was getting fevers. Um, I know I felt horrible. I felt horrible, but I didn't want to go to the doctor. I didn't want to do anything. And eventually, Josh ended up having to like drag me there like a caged velociraptor, like literally like a caged velociraptor, because I refused to go. And then when I got there, because I was like, oh, it's fine, they're gonna turn. I was like, they're gonna turn me away as soon as I get to the door. And then I got there, and they have like this quick rapid thing, not the rapid test, but they have like this rapid thing, um, and so they got my heart rate and everything, and they were like, "You, my friend, aren't going anywhere." And I was like, "God damn it!" I was not happy. I was like, so the velociraptor got even worse. I was like, so, but for me, it did permanent damage to my heart and lungs. I have really bad AFib and SVTs now because of it, and my lungs. the last x-ray that I got of my lungs in December looks like a Christmas tree. And I've got to get another x-ray of my lungs next month. So I'm interested to see what my lungs will look like. Um, I don't remember how long I was down. Oh, you got a TIA from COVID? That sucks, Lauren. I'm so sorry. And the aphasia's horrible. I, oh my God, anybody that has to deal with aphasia, I like it sucks because you can see the word, you can see it, you know what it is. So like if I like, so like with aphasia, this is a remote. I know that it's a remote, but I can't get the word out. I'm looking at it, I know what it is, I can see the word, but it's like the neurons aren't communicating to allow somebody with aphasia to get the word out. So um, generally, for me, I end up cussing and I generally throw in the word fuck. It's because I curse like a sailor. Cassandra, I hate it when people attribute, when doctors attribute stuff to weight. You know, yes, there are weight related medical issues, but you've got to like doctors, the medical community has to start looking outside the box. They have to start looking at the person as a whole. And this is why with invisible and chronic, invisible, chronic, and rare conditions, the average diagnosis is anywhere between 5 to 7 years, and that has got to stop. And once that stops, once crap like that stops, the readmission rate and for hospitals will go down. Um, it costs billions of dollars a year, and it's got to stop. Um, yep. So Rachel, you knew somebody that was perfectly healthy that got COVID and they have heart and lung problems. Um, so they are finding in studies now, because you got to understand that they're still finding stuff in real time with COVID. That um, they're still finding stuff in real time with COVID, and so so what they're finding is even people that got COVID and were asymptomatic are showing heart and lung involvement. They're showing, even the people that were asymptomatic are having heart and lung involvement, are getting blood clots, are getting COPD because of it. Brenda, you would love to know how to better advocate to the doctors. So I think what I'm going to do is because I've gotten a lot of requests for that through messaging. I'm going to do a video series on what it looks like to properly advocate for yourself when dealing with the medical community. Um, so I'm absolutely going to do that. Heike, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad that you were here. Cassandra, I totally agree. I was sick by the time somebody finally looked at you as a person rather than a number. Um, it cost you your gallbladder. You have chronic gallbladder disease and your liver is shot. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry that you're having to deal with that. And I can only imagine, if the medical, if the medical community is treating you one way, you can only imagine how the lay community, regular people treat you. And it's, just absolutely horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And it's got to stop. The stigma surrounding rare, chronic, and invisible illness have to stop. And it goes back to, that's one of the reasons that I created Chronically Rara was to fight these stigmas that happen. Um, Rachel, that sucks. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Oh, Brittany, you are one lucky ducky. Um, the doctor thinks that you didn't get it because you're O positive. Your doctor is an idiot. Yeah, there's nothing in the studies that is suggesting that an O positive person, because I O pos or I'm O neg. I think I'm O neg. But there's nothing in the studies that suggests that an O positive person or an AB positive or whatever, that your blood type makes you more susceptible or less susceptible to getting COVID. Um, Cheryl, you want to learn how to advocate for yourself as well? Okay. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to do that. I'm absolutely going to create a video that talks about advocating for yourself. And it maybe have to be done in a series. Um, but I'm absolutely going to do that, and I'm going to do that within the next week because I think that that's really important for you guys to learn how to advocate for yourselves to the medical community, the lay community. Um, the lay community is just about education, 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 and if people want to learn it, they'll learn it, and if they don't want to, then they won't, and that's their own, that's their own ignorance. If you once you choose to be ignorant, that's just stupidity, and stupidity is an epidemic that we will never be able to cure, unfortunately. um I will have to look at the research. I have not seen anything come up in the research, but now I'm intrigued. um yeah, now I'm totally intrigued. So yeah, Brittany and Lauren, I'm totally intrigued now. So now I'm gonna have to like do the research on this because I'm really curious now. Um, Also, if people are super tasters, huh? Interesting. Well, and that's the thing. Already produced antibodies probably would have a big effect on that and how your B cells and T cells react. I'm also researching after a CT scan, MRI, or blood test. Yeah, I'll have to. Well, and genetics plays a big factor as well. Genetics plays a big factor as well. And I'm really interested to see what COVID does to a person's DNA. Um, well, now I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna go through some journal articles because now I'm really curious. Euro positive, Stacy. Your husband and your son had it, and you never caught it. Stacy? Did you get any rapid testing done? Amy, I haven't been vaccinated yet, but I did schedule to get vaccinated. So I should be getting vaccinated within the next month. You can do, you can definitely do genetic testing, Lauren, to make sure that, make sure that, there's nothing major that you would pass on to your children. But you and your partner, who you're going to be having the children with, or, would have to do it, because of dominant and recessive. You've got heterozygous and homozygous. Um, heredity and recessive and dominant. So those all play a factor into it. Um, in Ohio, everyone 16 plus is eligible by 3/29. Yeah, when I called my doctor today, they said that they were getting the because I'm in group 1B, and I like there was nowhere like for me to be able to get a vaccine. Like they were all gone. Like, whew, they disappeared. Um, so I'm getting mine with my doctor when they get them in. Brittany, what vaccine did you get? Did you get the J&J, Moderna, or Pfizer vaccine? Um, oh, Lauren, it was so good to see you. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get off here too in the next couple minutes. But it was so good to see you. And yes, yes, I would absolutely love to set up a Zoom with you. So just message me and give me some dates that are good for you. Yeah, 1B definitely did get the shaft. Sent us through the Kroger website. Really? Okay. I'll have to do that. Brittany, you got the Moderna vaccine? Okay. That's right, because you work at a funeral home. I forgot about that. I try to remember this stuff that you guys tell me about yourselves. I try to remember it. I really do. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Lynn, you can message me anytime, love. You can message me anytime, Lynn, absolutely. So, well, it is almost 9:30. So I better be getting off of here. But I just want to thank you guys all so much for coming to Chronically Rara and hanging out. And like I said, we are going to be doing this. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, apparently it's been raining and stuff. I'm I'm so aloof to everything that goes on. I'm inside. Brittany, the second dose, depending on, I've heard the second dose with Moderna is really rough. Um, but yeah, so I want to thank you guys all so much for coming on and just hanging out with me, doing Rara Wednesdays. And like I said, we're going to be doing Rara Wednesdays every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I would love to have you guys on here. And if you have any topics that you would like to go over for the next Rara Wednesdays, just shoot me a message. Let me know what topics you want to go over. Let me know what questions you have. That way, if I have a list of topics or questions beforehand, we can just roll right into it. I would love to know what you guys would like to talk about for the next Raw Raw Wednesday. Um, so, other than that, I'll have to go on the Kroger link and look that up. I appreciate that, Christy. Um, other than that, I really appreciate the fact that you guys got on here and hung out with me. I know how you guys can be spending your time, and you guys chose to spend your time here with me at Chronically Raw Raw on Raw Raw Wednesdays, and I am so, so thankful for that. I just want to thank you guys very much. And any of you guys that are going to be watching the replay, I want to thank you so much for watching the replay. I know how you can be spending your time, and you're choosing to spend your time here at Chronically Raw Raw, and I am so thankful for you. Outside of that, you guys have a wonderful night. You guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful week, and I'm going to get that advocacy video out within a week. And outside of that, look for some more journal articles. Talk, it's not hard. Some more journal articles to be posted on the Chronically Rah website, on the Chronically Rah site, on here, on Facebook. And we will see you guys for Chronically Rah Wednesdays next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a wonderful day.